Good morning, boys and girls. This video is for Wednesday, April 22nd. So we're going to continue with our book, Twister on Tuesday, and we're on chapter 2. So today, on your little booklet, we're going to be working on the setting. And you might say, well, what is the setting? Well, I'm going to tell you. So the setting is basically the time and place. Okay, so when you were reading it, did it take place nowadays? Hopefully you realized by the clothes that the characters were wearing and some of the technology that they had that it wasn't today. It was in the past. So you could put the year that it was, or you could put kind of like the time in history that it was. Okay? So that's part of it. And the other part would be, that would be the time. And now it'd be the place. Like maybe if you know what state it was in, or maybe you can describe what it was like. What did the place look like? Well, I remember seeing in the pictures, there are pictures in this book. There's a lot of grass and it's very flat. Do you remember what that's called? Do you remember the prairies? This is kind of maybe a similar place that Sarah, Plain, and Tall might have been, right? Some place where it's really flat. And later on, I think by the title, you can actually figure out the weather at where this takes place, because that's also part of the setting. And sometimes the setting is really important to what happens in the story. It's almost like a character, especially like in movies. So now remember, we're on week 29 in our spelling words, and we're studying these words. Also, make sure that you go over the A-list words if you're one of the A students. That word metamorphosis is really a tricky one. It'd be really cool if you could memorize that one. Okay, so in your book, you've already cut these out and glued them on. So you should be on page 116. Now, this time it was nice because they give you the words up here and you just have to sort them the right way. Now, make sure when you're doing this, because this sound is not actually always ER, it's a sound, you say the word before you write it down. So say the word hard. Okay, that doesn't sound like that sounds like R. Okay, I'm right there. Score. Okay, that sounds like or. Earn. Hey, that goes right there. Even though it's not ER, this upside down E means sound. So it could be spelled EAR, it could be spelled ER, it could be spelled OR, it could be spelled UR. But it's going to be the sound. So earn would go here. And you just need to write the words. Okay, for your handwriting, you're going to be on page 64. So I like to fold my book back. Makes it easier for me. Make sure you're tilting your book. Now this Q is a little different. Sometimes you'll actually see the Q in cursive look almost like a 2. But this font, it's really just an upside down O. So you're going to start at the bottom and go around this way clockwise and then make a little loop at the bottom. So start at the bottom, go around to your right, loop, and it does look very similar to a printing Q. All right, let's do the lowercase. Now, don't connect this uppercase Q. There are very few words that start with the letter Q uppercase, but you will use it once in a while. All right, so let's do quiet. We're going to do a Q, start like an A, go straight down, go around backwards, then connect it. Remember, you're using a pencil. After I get to the end of the word, I have to dot my I and cross my T. I'll fix this U. Let's try another Q just on its own. Start like an A, go straight down, and then go backwards. It's the opposite of how you would do a G.
You can go if you like.
Okay, so for math, you're going to be doing your standardized test practice. You're not going to be working in your book today. If you come to Zoom, we'll work on this. What we're going to be doing here is, remember, we're working on AM and PM, figuring out which activity would take place at that time. So first, you're going to have to read the clock, though. We went to the fair. Would it make sense to go to the fair? Oh, first of all, you got to figure out the time. Well, I see that the hour hand is a little past the 6, so it's 6, and then I count by 5s. 5, 10, 15. 6:15. Oh no, there's 2 choices for 6:15. So I have to figure out, would it make more sense to go to the fair at 6:15 a.m.? Well, what time do you get up in the morning? Do you get up before 6:15 a.m.? Probably right now you're not getting up before 6:15 a.m. because you're sleeping in. Would you go to the fair before you get up in the morning? Probably not. And then 6:15 p.m., that's about dinner time. Could you go to the fair at dinner time? You could go in the evening when it's nice and cool. So I think the better answer would be 6:15 p.m. that you would go to the fair, not a.m., because that's just a little too early. And then the clock doesn't say 3:30. That would be if you mixed up the hands. So that one's not right at all. So that's what you're going to do on all of these. Some of them, notice, they're giving you the same answer, AM or PM, wanting to see if you can read the clock and then figure out, by the activity, what's most logical. Here, you're just going to read the clock. And same thing here, read the clock. Then you have some word problems. Quarter till and quarter past are a little bit tricky. We've gone over this before. If you're not understanding this, make sure that you get a little bit, maybe have your parent ask you a few samples, go over with this a little bit with you before our test that we're doing tomorrow. We're going to go over this in Zoom and talk about quarter till and quarter past. So if you're able to come to Zoom, then hopefully you'll understand that a little bit better. Okay, remember that picture you drew yesterday for the egg drop challenge? Now you're going to try to put together a contraption or some kind of holder for your egg. Now, if you noticed, we're not doing our scholastic today. We're not going to be doing it every day from now on. We're going to be doing it some days, but not every day. So anyway, you may or may not have all the items in your picture. So when you start building, things might change, and that's okay. All right? Okay, so you have the directions. It says materials for the egg drop challenge, and it tells you what to do. I thought of a few more items you might use at home. Now, nothing is off limits as far as what you use, but I forgot to tell you one thing. You have to be able to get the egg out of the container once you drop it in about 5 seconds. So in other words, you can't just wrap it all up in a bunch of stuff and then tape it all up and drop it. And then you have to destroy your container to get it out. That's not going to work. Okay? So you have to be able to get it out. So I thought of some more items. You can use an egg carton. So here's the egg carton. And then if you cut these, your egg can kind of sit in there. So some people like to do that. Another thing you can use is these bags. I wonder what you could use these for. And string is another thing that might be good. And I was thinking of one other thing. What was it I was thinking of that people have used? Oh, I know. Balloons. Last year, somebody had brought balloons to class, and a lot of kids have brought things, and I had things, and we put it together with what we had. Duct tape is kind of a good material. If you have duct tape, you might need some kind of tape to hold things together. It's kind of hard to glue things and make them stay, but you could glue things. If you had string or a bag, you could tie it. That's completely okay. If you needed to glue something and you didn't have anything else, you could use hot glue, but then your parent would have to help you because kids can't use hot glue on their own. Okay, so today what you're going to do is you're going to use your plastic egg when you build the container and get it ready. Now, if you want to and you're ready today to go ahead and drop it, you can, but you need to use a real egg. So I didn't give you a real egg because I didn't think I could get it to you without it breaking. So you are going to have to get a real egg if you don't have one at home to do this activity. So hopefully you have one, and if not, maybe you can borrow one or go to the store or something, but you do need an egg. So what's going to happen is today you can build your contraption, and then you have tomorrow also to build if you need to. Or you can build it today, try it, make some changes, and do it again tomorrow. But you have 2 days to do this. So usually what we do in class is we have everybody do it, and we drop it first from not very high. Just hold it in your hand and drop it. But make sure you figure out a place where it's okay if you have the real egg in there, that you're not going to make a mess. I usually try it with the plastic egg first, because if the plastic egg breaks, well, you know you're in trouble because that plastic egg is pretty strong. So you're going to just hold it, and then you're going to eventually get higher and higher with an adult's help. You don't climb up on things and drop it from a high place, okay? You talk to your parents about what you're going to do it and when you're going to do it. If you have a 2-story house, it might work to drop it from the 2nd story easily, but you need to get permission and figure out where you're going to do it. So don't just go start dropping the egg and make a mess, okay? This might be an outdoor activity. Usually when I do it with a class, we'll do it and we'll take turns, and I'll get up on a ladder, and first I'll drop it just like this, and then I'll get up on a ladder a little bit and drop it, and then I'll get up a little higher. Sometimes when I did it one Easter with my kids and the cousins, somebody got on the roof, but not one of the kids. One of the adults got on the roof and dropped it. Okay, so that's what you're working towards in the next 2 days, to drop it and see if it survives. Now, if it doesn't survive, that's okay. That's okay. Try to make it better and try it again. That's how you learn, and that's how you have fun. Okay, I just wanted to tell you about one more thing. Because we're doing the egg drop, I did put a fun book that you can listen to on the website that talks about, it's just a story about eggs, and I thought it was kind of funny. So it's on the website if you want to watch that book. Since we're not doing our Scholastic books for the next couple days, you can watch that today or tomorrow. Okay, and then I'm going to show you an extra credit activity that I'm going to do a video for. So if you want to do for recess, you want to listen to Star Wars and do a music activity, and you can do this listening glyph, and I did a video, and you can do that if you'd like to today. So that's all for today, kids. We'll see you on Zoom.